Okay, so this is video number 2 out of 5 videos for Chapter 1, Section 6, Multiplying and Dividing Real Numbers. In this video, we're going to talk about the integer rules for multiplying and or dividing. When you multiply or divide two numbers that have the same sign, their product or quotient will be positive. So same signs, positive when you're multiplying or dividing. When you multiply or divide with different signs, the product or quotient will be negative. So when you're multiplying or dividing, same signs positive, different signs negative. So here we're multiplying same signs, and again, I do not mind if you use your calculator. Same signs, we're going to get a positive answer, that's 39.2. Here, you can use your calculator. We're multiplying different signs. We're going to get a negative answer. You can, if you use your calculator, it'll probably just give you negative 3 1/3. If you do this by hand, remember 5 is over 1, so we're multiplying the numerators, multiplying the denominators, and that's how I arrived at negative 10/3. Okay, here I want to remind you, even though you can use your calculator, I just want to remind you about cross-canceling, where it's just basically simplifying before you multiply. 3's and the 3 on top and the 3 on bottom, they both will divide by 3. Negative 2 and 4 will both divide by 2. Okay, and so now we just multiply the numerators and we get negative 1, and multiply the denominators and we get 2. So this answer is going to be negative 1/2. Okay, now again, you can use your calculator to do that, but I wanted to remind you how to do the simplifying before you multiply, because later you're going to get into variables and you're not going to be able to use your calculator with those. So just a quick reminder on how to multiply fractions without a calculator. Okay, so on this one here, we are evaluating. Just remember that every time you see that you're evaluating and there's a multiplication between the numbers and the variables, or all of them, that you need to use parentheses around where your x is and where your y is. So this will be negative 2 parentheses negative 20. Negative 20 is what x is equal to. And then parentheses negative 3, because that's what y is equal to. So you take the x out, put parentheses, take the y out, put parentheses. Now when you multiply an odd number of negatives, that will equal a negative answer. So this is going to be positive 40 times negative 3, which is negative 120. Okay. All right, on this one, just remember that a negative sign in front of a parentheses means take the opposite of the answer or multiply by negative 1. So I'm just going to show you multiplying by negative 1 on these. All right, so we have C is negative 8 and D is negative 7. Notice that C and D are both in parentheses. So when I put the negative 8 and the negative 7 into the parentheses, it's going to be multiplication. So first you multiply negative 8 times negative 7, which you get positive 56. And then I made that negative 1, that negative symbol, a negative 1. And then you multiply and you get negative 56. So that's how you can use that negative symbol as a negative 1. All right, over here, I'm taking the C and putting in negative 8. Notice that inside the parentheses, I have negative D. So that little negative right there is going to be a negative 1. D is negative 7. So I'm multiplying negative 1 times negative 7, which is positive 7 in the parentheses. Then multiply by negative 8. And I get negative 56. Okay, so this is the end of video 2. We will move next to video 3 and look at some more types of multiplying and dividing.